Tell me a little bit about where you were born and what your childhood was like.
Shit, my childhood was just like typical. I grew up with a single mother. My dad was in prison. And it was pretty typical, just grew up like in the streets for real. I used to skateboard and shit when I was a kid.
Where did you grow up exactly?
Santa Rosa.
Okay.
So that's Northern California. It's an hour north of San Francisco.
Hell yeah. Definitely. And so, okay, you grew up skateboarding. And see, that's interesting. You're talking about being in the streets and then you bring up skateboarding right away. I feel like sometimes people laugh at me when I'm like, I spent my whole teenage life riding BMX bikes in the streets. And they're like, oh, that's not the streets. Yeah, the streets is like moving kilos of heroin. Ride bike, skateboarding, that's not the streets. And I'm like, that is like 100% where I learned what the was going on outside.
Yeah, you got to deal with a lot of bullshit when you're out in the streets like that, But as long as you got your skateboard, like a skateboard is like a weapon. Mm-hmm. You straight out there. Yeah. You can move.
Skateboard for a lot of people, like the way my bike was for me is like you're a escape route of like whatever your circumstances are. It's like all of a sudden you got this thing. It costs you like $100 and you could just be anywhere. You could travel long distances all of a sudden.
And no one wants to fuck with you when you on a skateboard. Like everyone's like, oh, it's just a skateboarder. He cool. Like cops don't even look your way type shit. Mm-hmm. You out there selling dope. The cops like, oh, that's just a skateboarder. I'll be out there on the block like 3 a.m. and a cop sees me. I'm like, I'm pushing on my skateboard. I ain't out here doing nothing.
It felt like that really worked.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Crazy.
Damn. Okay, but so it started out with skateboarding, or was that really your initial introduction to the culture at large?
No, like I always been a fan of hip hop. Always growing up, like listening to, I'm from the Bay, so I really grew up on like a lot of Bay Area music. Mac Dre, Too Short, Messy Marv, Jay Stalin, all the Bay Area greats. And that's like really where I got it from. Like I just always been into hip hop. So like when I made the brand, you could tell like instantly it was definitely hip hop influenced.
Definitely. But okay, so all throughout high school, you're doing the skateboard thing, or what was high school like as a whole?
High school was cool, man. I just, I played sports. I played basketball and skated. And then, when I graduated, that's when I graduated to the streets for real, like summer, senior year. Right when I graduated, I just started selling coke. So I just graduated to selling coke for real. Like,
was that because you were using it, or did you just see
like where I'm
need?
From is like more of a rural area, out a little bit outside of Santa Rosa, and it's like super low income. So the only influences I had growing up were really like the drug dealers in my area, a lot of like meth dealers and shit. And that's who I looked up to as a kid. I was like, those are the niggas doing it. They had the cars, they had the clothes, like they was doing it. And so when I graduated, that's all I really knew. And like I said, my dad was always in prison. So my dad was a drug dealer too. I didn't meet him until I was like 5 years old because he got in a lot of trouble. He was in the feds and shit. So I always just like, that was all I really knew was just sell dope. And so like this clothes shit's really been a blessing for me.
So you never thought about going to college or like getting a trade or anything? It was always like hustling just seemed like the more obvious route?
I did try to go to college. I tried to go to college for audio engineering, like doing some music shit. And I went for like 3 years and then I dropped out because I realized it wasn't really shit. And I don't really like being on a computer like that. So I like to like be more creative, more visual with my art.
Definitely.
Like the audio engineering wasn't for me at all.
It's like a certain personality type if you want to be involved in that kind of thing.
Nah, for sure. For sure.
So you get into selling drugs the summer after high school, and what does that look like for you? You have like a small clientele, or how are you making it work?
Yeah, I just started building off just my friends, everyone that I knew in the area, everyone was copping that shit. Everyone knew me, they trusted me. So it was pretty easy. It didn't work out always. I had to sometimes get like little jobs here and there. I was like a server, bus driver. I did a bunch of little jobs. But it wasn't until like I was like 22 or 23 that I started taking the coke shit even more seriously. I started really marketing it and like making sure that my clientele was on point and that I was out, making sure that everything was in stock always. And like I made a business out of it at that point.
Okay. But so the skateboarding left your life at some point and you were just fully like trapping or what?
Yeah, no, for sure. That shit was just in the past. Like I always with the culture. Skateboarding is the culture, you know, streetwear, everything has to do with everything.
Right.
But that was just like when I was a kid and shit, I can be falling down on the cement all the time and shit. You know, I'm getting old now.
Wait, how old are you now?
I'm 31.
31. Okay, yeah, I feel it. Because when I do like go ride my bike at this point, it is like, holy shit, the second your body hits the ground, that is a weird ass feeling you do not feel in your normal everyday life. Never mind even like scraping your arm against the cement and you're like, oh, I'm going to have like a hole in my arm with some blood and shit for like the next week. Like that's a strange thing normal people don't got to deal with.
Yeah, when you a skateboarder and shit, you just covered up with bruises and scabs all the time. It's regular.
Yeah, people don't understand that like a pro skateboarder is literally just constantly living in this state of disarray. Like that they are feeling a level of pain even when they don't have like a broken ankle. It's like just the falling down and rolling around in the dirt every day. Like they just end up being like part athlete, part bum. Like it's just, you have to be willing to accept like a
clothes
certain
all
level.
ripped up and dirty and shit.
I mean, you'll see a dude do the best trick he ever did in his whole life and he'll have his whole back of his shirt brown, ripped up, dirt, hole in the shit because he already tried the shit 10 times. I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Fuck with that though. That's like fashion for real.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the real shit too. Because that guy could show up at the bar and like if the people around actually like know why he looks like that, it's like very much respected.
It's respected, you know?
Yeah.